Hi, this is a tutorial to walk you through the process of setting up the NIUI API for use with the Unreal Development Kit. So throughout this, I'm going to walk you through downloading the API, setting up your Connect so that it can interface correctly with Unreal, and we'll also set up a sample project so you can have a little play around with at the end of the tutorial some of the sample content just to get an idea of how the API works. So the first thing you're going to need for this tutorial is a working copy of UDK. You can get this from www.udk.com/download. Just a quick note, you need the December 2010 version as a minimum when working with this API. The reason for this is that NIUI was built in this version, and I can guarantee that it will work in this version and all the later versions up to now. However, for this tutorial, I'm going to be using the March 2011 UDK, which is this one here. So after you've downloaded and installed the UDK that's later than December 2010, you're going to need to grab a copy of the NIUI API. There's a few ways you can get this. You can get it from connecthacks.net, or the way I suggest is to go to the thread in the UDK forums and downloading the API from there. So it's quite convenient that I'm already on it, but if you want to find it, just do a Google search for NIUI UDK API, and it should be the first one. It should say NIUI OpenAI Connect API for UDK. So if you just open that up, and we're back to where we started. So for this, we want to download the latest version of the API, which in this case currently it's Alpha V 1.1. If you're watching this at a later date and the version is later than this one, don't worry about it, because this setup process will remain the same for all versions of UDK. So download that and it'll take you to a media file link where you can grab it. So after you've downloaded that, we'll just jump onto my desktop, and here we have the NIUI API WinRAR file. So we'll just double click to open that guy up. And we'll drag the NIUI API folder onto our desktop. So this folder contains all the information and content and source code that's necessary to run the API so that you can code your own programs and make Connect games for UDK. So if we just open this up, how we're going to get this started is, first of all, we need to install the Connect sensor, the OpenAI binary and the Night binary, which are the skeletal mapping and image extraction libraries that is needed for this to work. You'll find this in installers folder, and then Connect install. If you just double click in this folder, this program here, Connect install, is a small application that automates the setup process for your Connect. Before you run this though, you need to unplug your Connect and then run the installer. The reason for this is I've had issues when I've had my Connect plugged in and I've run this installer. So do yourself a favor and just unplug it before you run this, if you haven't already installed it. So after you've run that, what we're going to do is we're going to set up UDK so that it can interface correctly with OpenAI. So we do this by jumping back into our NIUI API folder. There's a folder called Required DLLs, which is all the DLLs that's needed for this to work lives. In this folder we have our NIUI DLL, which I'll get to later on, and we have a folder called to be copied into Win32. So this is all the OpenAI DLLs that is needed for this to run. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this across into our Win32 folder with our UDK binaries directory. So I'll just open up my computer and my C drive, and we'll browse to my UDK directory, which in this case is the UDK 2011-03, which is our March version. So I'll open that up. We need to go into our binaries folder, Win32, which is where we're copying all these DLLs into. So double click to that to open it. and just browse down to make sure this udk.exe is here. These DLLs need to be in the same folder as this to connect up properly. So just drag select all of them, and we'll do right click copy, and then we'll paste them in. So you should see here all the XN DLLs should come in. There'll be an OpenNI DLL here, and there's also NIM DLLs. So that is successfully set up. So the next thing we need to do is set up our NIUI DLL, which is all the C++ backend for getting the information from OpenNI into UDK. So we do this by jumping back over to our NIUI API folder. We have the Win32 folder still open. We'll jump back up into the required DLLs folder, and here we have a NIUI.dll. This is our DLL that we need to copy across. This needs to go into our Win32 folder on our UDK directory. So in this folder, we have a folder called user code, where you put all your DLLs that need to be bound to Unreal script files here, which is exactly how NIUI works. So we'll just double click to open that guy up. If this is a fresh install, it will be empty. If it's not a fresh install, there may be DLLs in here already, but that's not important. So just right click and copy the NIUI DLL from your required DLLs in the NIUI API folder. And then we just paste him in. And now it's in our user code folder of our Win32, which is where it should be.